everyone, and welcome to Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals, number 471 shows and counting this evening. I want to welcome everyone aboard, all you new listeners. I hope you enjoy the show and you come back and keep spreading the word. I just want to go over a short brief of what's going on here. Blog Talk Radio closed down January the 31st. Okay, so now I'm on a new podcast, Podbean web and app. So this is an awesome platform, everyone. I'm very highly impressed, and we'll keep going. Back in June of 2014, I was on the TS Radio Network, Voices Carry for Animals, Marty Oakley, and sadly she passed away April 1st of 2023. I had 163 shows on her network, plus I also was a co-host for her for over 75 shows back in 2014 to 2015 on elder abuse, guardianship abuse, all kind of elder abuse going on out there, everyone. And then she helped me put together Animal Advocates Radio, Voices Carry for Animals, in March of 2018 until current. She was a great team player, a friend, and she is sadly missed. So, if you want to go back and listen to any of my shows back on TS Radio Network, it is on podserve.fm, Voices Carry for Animals, and you can follow that, okay? And now the 164th show of Voices Carry for Animals podcast is on also on podserve.fm, and you can follow that also. So all the shows are secured and safe, and you could go back and listen to them at anytime you want, 24/7. And it's also on Podbean, and I'll give you that. And all the shows are also stored on there. Voices Carry for Animals .podbean.com. And if you subscribe and follow my podcast, you can interact. Just start up a free account. It's very simple. And also, you can always, go back and share them and listen to them. A great report happening right now, everyone, that the all the former archive shows having record breaking downloads, and that is so awesome to hear, and to go after 10.5 years being on air, and they're blowing off the charts. And after each show that gets downloaded this evening, it's going to be published on 19 other podcast platforms. This is just so phenomenal. And also on two YouTube channels, Voices Carry for Animals podcast on YouTube. You can subscribe free, and also Animal Advocates Radio podcast on YouTube. You also subscribe. I just was recently in contact with John Bowden from All About Animals Radio. Give him a big shout out from the UK. They shut it down, and he transferred all his YouTube channel to Animal Advocates Radio. I'm glad he thought of me, and the good news is all his former videos with his great guests and shows is still located on there. So please check them out. There's like 78 of them. So I'm glad he did not delete that. My name is Mama Bear, and Mama Bear is back and on the air. And so glad, everyone. And I want to go over just one couple more things here. If you are listening to this show by the web and you want to enter the Podbean podcast, go and download free, okay, on either Apple Store, Apple Store, or Google Play. And then it's like I said, it's free, and then you can also come into the live room. Just make sure you follow the Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Okay. So if you're listening on the web right now, thank you all for tuning in. The live room is great. I mean, it is. I love it. I'm so highly impressed with this. So anyway, I'm going to bring my guest on. And last night, everyone, it was my fault that the show got shut down. I can't be having an iPhone and an iPad going at the same time. So I did get that problem corrected, and I will. Keep going here. I'm learning a lot. It's still a newbie, and we are going to rock the airways for the animals. So my name is Debbie Dahmer, producer and host for Animal Advocates Radio Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Welcome you all aboard. Thank you for joining in the live room. You send messages, and then at the end, they're going to be on the website in the chat room. So they're going to be all printed out. So, but I want to get started here, and hope everyone. I hope you all enjoy the show. And one more thing here. If you want to come on air, I want you in the lower right hand corner. There's a mic, and you send that to press that. It'll alert me that you want to come on air and speak to the guest. Okay, and then I'll bring you on. Just try to refrain from any noises in the background, and you're more and welcome to come on board. Okay, so let's get this show started. And hello to everyone in the chat room. I'll be in there shortly and everything. So and we'll bring Linda Greaves in. She has been on this show before. She does great interviews and everything. And out there, it's Wild Horse Lobby Week 2025, March 25th to the 27th. So I'm going to bring her on live. Linda, can you, at the lower right hand corner, there's a mic button. Can you press that and alert me you're coming on air? Thank you. This is great.
Hi, Debbie. Can you hear
Uh,
me?
yes, I can. How are you, Linda? Welcome back.
Well, welcome back. Well, thank you for having me back, and I'm very excited to be here and get to talk to everybody. And yeah, learning. It's like when we figure something out, it seems like we get a new curveball. Like once we get everything down, and we like the bean. I think this is going to be a good format, though. You just
Yes.
a little bit of a learning curve. So, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Learn it. You live and learn, and
so very true.
it's nothing like blog talk. I tell you, I had to learn the app and the web, and then explain it to the guests that's coming on. But so you want to go ahead and tell yourself a little bit about yourself and refresh the audience, and because well, you're doing some strong and impressive work out there. It's great. I love it.
Okay, well, thank you. Well, I'm Linda Greaves, and I live outside of Washington, D.C., and I have a passion for all things animals. But in the last several years, I've gotten really involved with the wild horses. I care about all animals and the domestic horses also. And right now, out west, they are at a critical point with being eradicated for special interests. And we've been lobbying, we've done some protests, we've done conferences out there, and I've been out to watch the roundups. They're very inhumane and very cruel. And I've documented them for Wild Horse Education, who does litigate against the abuses and stuff like that. So, and I've been doing that for several years. And one of the things I always try to encourage people, because people always just say, well, what can just one person do? Well, one person can do a lot. And sometimes that one person inspiring, like Debbie, that one person inspiring somebody else to do something, we can have a chain reaction where it can snowball into something really big. And if everybody thinks that, nothing will ever be done. So it's every little thing. It's like when I first started, it's like, well, I'll go to a protest, and then I did, and I had a sign for horses, and then I decided to do a billboard truck in DC about wild horses and anti-slaughter. And so it just, like I said, it's just one step and then the next, and then start inviting people to come along on the journey with you. So that's kind of where we're at now. Over the last, this will be the fourth annual conference this year. We've done conferences, two in Washington, D.C., and last year's was out in Reno, which allowed people to get out and actually go and visit the wild horses at a holding facility to see how sad that is. And then also to get on the range and see them wild, which was very inspiring. And it was on a lot of people's bucket lists. And several people that came out said that's one of the things they'd always wanted to see wild horses free on the range. So it was really, really amazing thing to do. And then this year, we're splitting it up because we have a new administration, and part of their plan is in the written plan is to destroy excess wild horses. And when we're talking about excess wild horses, we're talking about over 60,000 in holding facilities, and they consider a lot of the horses on the range still to be excess too. So that would mean that they would be also killed. So, and and so we're trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. It has not been brought forward yet, but we know that um, it has been talked about, and so we're trying to make sure our elected officials we want to make sure that they know that we want our wild horses, and they are federally protected, to maintain their protections and for nothing to happen to them. We would love to see them be put back out on the ranges where some of them have been taken off of, because half of their land has been removed from, they've zeroed out these herd management areas, and we want them to put them back out as rewilding, where they can actually be living a natural life and also helping the environment. So we're going to be doing two-part conference, because all my congressman and my senator said it's really important to get into this administration early. And even a lot of the people that did get reelected, they have new staff and everything. So to get in there early in March is when people start really hitting it. So we're going to do 2 days of lobbying. We will have, if you go to saveamericaswildhorses.com, there's information there. There's a place to sign up, and we will be helping people that have never done it before. If you come to DC, we will go with you. If you're going to do it virtually from home, we can talk you through it. I have a video on the website, and we could also have help with making the appointments for people that would like to speak on the issue. But we'll do a couple of uh, Zooms to get everybody up to speed so they're comfortable with it and they have the content and the information that they need to have in order to have these conversations. And just a real quick thing, most of the people that you talk to are aides. We'll say Debbie's a congressman or congresswoman um, in any state. So it doesn't matter if it's a man, woman, or what state it is. What it will, she would have aides to help. Like one might deal with education, another may deal with wild horses in public lands, and somebody else may deal with medical stuff. So there's aides for different things. So you want to develop a relationship with those individual aides. Um, so that's kind of what we do, and that's what we want to get into. But most of these aides are younger people, so being polite, educating them, getting them to care about the issues that we care about is really, really important, because a lot of them are overwhelmed. They're recently out of college and they just don't know. So we have to be the educators. And then once they get enough information and or they see bills and stuff come through that department, they have a different perspective and they can bring it up to the congressman or the senator. Um, and and if they get enough information and they get enough interest, because they keep tabs, it's like one person a year calls about this, but we have 10 people a day calling about this issue. That issue that has 10 people calling a day is what's going to get that senator or congressperson's attention. So that's kind of what we're doing, and we've done these lobby days before. It's kind of exciting, a little bit intimidating, but these people work for us. We pay their salaries. They are our employees, not the other way around. And so that's kind of what right now we're planning, and it's going to be the 25th and 26th with the extra day on the 27th if somebody can't make it or they can't make their appointments. But physically, we're going to be on the Hill on the 25th 5th and 26th. And like I said, if necessary, we'll stay over that extra day, but we're figuring we'll get some virtual appointments on that last day.
Oh yeah, sounds like you got it together there. I mean, and all the help and voices, action takers we got, hey, the better. And I'll keep passing it for you too, Linda, through all my pages I admin on and groups and other X and also LinkedIn. It takes teamwork all the way. Just like this radio platform, I can't do it alone. I have to have all you guys out there. I'm a one woman operation out there,
Yeah,
produce it and host it and schedule it and help promote it. I mean, there's a lot involved here, and I volunteer for all of this. I'm not in it for money. I'm in it for change. You got it. So,
yeah,
and it takes all kind of super team players out there to come together, and I am connected with a lot of them. I mean, they are amazing. And there's several of them in the chat room right now. Mama Cat, Michelle Sotoro, uh, I mean, Gina Patero, she's another one, but she's not in here. Patricia Perry, big shout out to all. I mean, this list is huge, so it keeps me going. All of you rock out there, okay? Rocking the animals world with changes to be made for their futures, and get them out of harm's way. These animals don't have a voice. We do, so we have to use it, just like for the elderly and the children. If we
yeah,
don't speak out for them, they have no hope to carry on. And we have to get laws enforced for enforcement out there. Or in these abusers and predators and all that, they know that. So we have to get stronger, strengthen the laws, harsher penalties, because if we don't, nothing changes. And we are sitting here right now blowing out steam. So please, everyone, do your part. Connect with your legislators. That's what they're there for. And, I don't care if they're Democrat, Republican, Independent, whatever. We have to put that aside and work as a team, right, Linda? Because
yeah,
if we don't, we're not getting nowhere. We might as well not just give it up.
yeah.
So please, just do it.
And I will say you're absolutely right that no bill, well, occasionally do. If we want to get some change made, animals are quite often a bipartisan issue because there are the people that love animals, Republicans, Democrats, independents. It's like men, women, people just usually love animals, and we have a cross section there. So you're absolutely correct. And I noticed somebody asked, why are they removing the horses from public lands? Well,
Yes.
first of all, a little backstory. We have 250 million acres of federal public lands. Though that land belongs to me and to you, and that's our lands. We can actually go out there and drive on it, park on the side of the road, and spend a couple nights in a tent if we want to. It is our land. All the animals out on those lands are our animals. And so we have this amazing diversity from California all the way back, it's Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, all these places have public lands. But the public lands also are managed for multiple use. And unfortunately, one of the main multiple uses is livestock, which, it's cattle grazing. So these guys pay $1.35 less than we pay for food, a can of cat food to have their cows out there. And that's a month, $1.35 a month. They get to have their cattle out there, and the cattle struggle to live out there, but because of the cattle are out there, they don't want competition for the food for their livestock. So they say the horses are overpopulated, but the horses are pretty much outnumbered 30 to 1 to livestock on almost all the land. And there's 250 million acres, but horses are only allowed on a little under 26 million acres. So they're only allowed on 11% of the land, and of that land, 85% of it they have to share with livestock. But not just livestock, mining, extractive industries, and entertainment. Like right now, one of the things that some of these public lands, they're putting in these ATV parks and stuff like that, where they take you know a couple hundred acres and put they put the tracks in and stuff like that, and it's really bad for the environment because it breaks the earth crust up and everything. But one of the things a lot of people don't understand is when the livestock are out on the range, it's not just the horses displaced. Wildlife services will go out there, and Mr. Rancher, he's this, they took their cattle, you know, 200 feet, 200 miles up in the mountains on this public lands to put them out to graze. And they're like, oh my gosh, we see a couple of wolves. Well, they'll go out there and trap the wolves, or they'll go out there and poison the predators that are around. Anything that jeopardizes the livestock will be, quite often are killed. So they kill about 6 million animals a year on behest of the special interests that don't want wildlife around. And it's not just the wolves; it's the prairie dogs, it's birds, it's just whatever they determine is taking up resources from their livestock. And again, right now, mining's a really big thing, and they're getting ready to do a bunch of extractive practices out there. So when they say, we want on 26 million acres, they're saying that they only want 16,000 horses. And so when you think 25 million acres and 16,000 horses, but there's millions of cattle on that same land. So they're slowly zeroing the horses out. They basically would like them to be gone because that would give them more opportunity to have the land. And also, when the horses are there, people are kind of out there watching. They're going to visit the horses. And so when they see these misuses of the land, they can report it. So that's kind of the gist of why they're doing it. And right now we have about 60,000 horses sitting and holding that they've pulled off our public lands, and they're basically in feedlots now. And it's really, really a sad situation. And it's not the way we should be doing that. If anybody's familiar with it, there's some wonderful rewilding projects where they're bringing beavers, predators, and grazers, including buffalo and horses, into some of these areas. And it's regenerating the land, and the ecosystems are recovering. All kinds of pollinators and birds and everything else coming back to these lands that have been gone for decades. It's just really amazing. Um, Rewilding America Now is a fairly new one that started up, and it looks like it's going to be an amazing way forward. And again, just when I was saying all those cattle that are out there, it equals less than 2% of our beef that's consumed in this country. A lot of it is shipped overseas. So all those cows went away, besides them not being slaughtered every 2 years, um, that the land could recover, we would not see a difference in our grocery stores. And and we wouldn't. It costs us millions of dollars to subsidize the ranching out there. So it's a win-win for the environment and animals if we don't have livestock out there. But it is a welfare program for the livestock industry.
Mm. And another thing with all these, Mustangs and stuff, they're innocent and they deserve to live in freedom. They have been around forever. And I see these videos, horrific videos of them getting chased down by helicopters, and
Yep.
it makes me sick. I mean, they're so traumatized and scared. That is animal cruelty front lines. I mean, it is so disgusting, and taxpayers are paying for this. We need to put a stop to it, everyone, because it is terrible, okay? And they're in these kill pens, they're trying to get out, they're terrified, they're jumping up on each other, and so scared. They shouldn't have to live like that. That is animal cruelty, first degree. Putting these animals through this. They're beautiful animals. I mean, they're so wild and free. And I look at it, Linda, and I say, why is this happening? I mean, it shouldn't be. And taxpayers, open your eyes. There's so much wasteful spending going on, even in
Mhm.
animal testing, that needs to go away. We have to do something. We have to be a part of the solution, not the ongoing problems. Because if we don't, it's just going to continue year after year, decade after decade. And there's these two bills. I want to bring this up, Linda, that was introduced in 2023, the SAFE Act, okay, the horse slaughter bill, okay.
Yep.
It's been introduced. It has over 200 and some co-sponsors, and there's not been any voting on the Senate side or the House of Representatives. how many co-sponsors do you need? Just like the Wild Horse and Burro Protection Act, that's include the helicopters getting
Yeah.
chased down by them. That also has a lot of co-sponsors, not as much as the Safe Act, but it
Mm.
was introduced in 2023, and it has a not. That's it. We
Well, I
can't
will
get no
say,
farther.
though both those bills died at the first of this year. They all bills only are they have there's a 2 year window for them, but the Safe Act did just get reintroduced, I believe, yesterday. And so we're hoping it. And like you said, actually, the Safe Act had enough votes to go to the floor, but the speaker has to bring it to the floor for it to be voted on. And I have a big problem with that because, if the Congress people or the senators, they all agree that they want a bill passed for one person to be able to hold out and not bring it forward. I just think that's wrong, and that should not be allowed. Um, because at one point there was Mitch McConnell was sitting on like I think it was around 80 bills that had been gone through House and Senate, just needed to finish going to the floor and go to the president, and he did not bring them forward. And so
Oh
like that
no.
needs to be addressed. If the person representing me says yes, we want the Safe Act passed, and yours says they want the Safe Act passed, we sign on to it, and then somebody says, well, I'm just going to let it sit there and die because in 2 years it will die. The bills only last so long, and usually with the Safe Act, we seem to get some traction in the House, and we get enough to bring it forward. But the Senate side, and I've talked to my senators, and they said, because it's going to be so controversial, because the veterinarians say they try to say that horse slaughter is the same as humane euthanasia, which is bull. But so it's not that. And then there's some Native American tribes that say it's stomping on their rights to be able to process the horses the way they want. So I'm only saying that so people understand the opposition. And like I said, in the some of the like the quarter horse industry, they think it's a reasonable way to get rid of excess horses or horses that they don't want anymore. I'm a big proponent of, you have an animal, you have it for life. If not, then you rehome it. And a lot of these horses that do go into slaughter, they're very old. They should have just been somebody should have put them down at home because they're in their 30s. They have all kinds of health problems. Instead of getting $200, if you take it to an auction instead, do what's right for your animal. But I wanted to circle back real quick to the wild horses. I know a lot of people know, but some people don't know. Wild horses have been all equines on Earth evolved in North America. It's about between 55 and 60 million years ago. And so, in the horses, the BLM listed them as invasive. And that's one of the reasons we've had problems. That just got repealed, not by BLM, but by the founding document. It was they are no longer listed as invasive. So we're hoping we're going to make some progress with that. But wild horses live in multi generational bands, and sometimes a mare and a stallion be together for decades. And a lot of times they'll have, there's a lead mare and then there's a stallion, and sometimes the stallion, if it's a bigger group, he'll have what they call a lieutenant stallion that helps him keep the horses away from the other stallions and stuff like that. But the mares can have up to 4 generations of her daughters will stay with her. So these animals are very, very bonded. And if anybody's ever had horses, they call it in our horse industry, they call it buddy sour because they don't want to go anywhere without their buddy. Well, wild horses are even more so like that. I've seen stallions turn around and face the helicopter with their family behind them, and it was just awe-inspiring. And they just took off and ran under the helicopter, and they ignored it the rest of the time, and they actually got away. So these animals are smart. They know, they know where the water is. They know where to go during the different seasons. They remind me more of elephants because there's like the aunties to the babies, and it's just really, really amazing to watch these animals over the years. And they make friends. Even the stallions that leave, they'll come back and do visits and stuff like that. So it's just a really, really neat thing to see, and how they interact with the other species on the land. Like there'll be a band of horses is usually a lead stallion. There's a stallion, a lead mare, and then some other, usually females or younger males within that band. When they come into water, bands will take, if like, well, if 10 bands come in around the same time, they'll take turns to go down, drink. They'll walk away, and another band will come in. So there's actually a hierarchy within the big herd. The bands make a big herd. So the herds will actually have a hierarchy within the herd based on the different bands. So it's a really interesting thing. And horses do really help regenerate the land. So the fact that they try to say that they're invasive and they destroy the land and they do all this bad stuff is just not true. And like I said, and as the horses go, so do the other animals. And like I said, these people that have such little regard, like you were saying, like dog fighting, animal testing, you know, killing contests for wild animals. It's just there's something missing from some people, and takes everybody to do something because there's a saying, e- there's the evil people out there, there's the doers out there, and the people that do the most damage are the ones that sit by and do nothing because therefore they're letting things happen.
Right, because what we allow is what will continue and get
Yep.
worse.
Yep.
It's not going to move. We have to go after them laws to have them enforced, or we don't get nowhere. We're just spinning our wheels. Everyone, we got to get stronger here in 2025 and get more people involved because we the people have powers. You have the power if there's enough of us. If not, guess what? It's just going to get kicked to the curb, right out, and also out the window. So we
Yeah.
want to protect these beautiful animals. They have burrows. I remember Marty Oakley had many years of shows for Wild Horse and Burro Radio with Debbie Coffey,
Yeah.
and so many great guests. I don't know if you heard of her. I wish she would come back on air as a host. But I mean, just listening to this, I some of the stories and the videos, and it's sickening. I mean, there's no excuse for it. We look at it and we say, "Hey, what can I do?" Because everyone out there, you are somebody. Your voice matter, your actions matter, and the more of us that come together, we get stronger, and we have to do something, or this stuff is going to continue clear up to the 22nd century and past it. So
Yeah.
it's up to us to do something and keep fighting because that's what it takes. Animal advocates, can you imagine not having all of us on board? I mean, it would be 100 times worse. So we are making a dent in there. I see victories coming through, but not fast enough. It's taking too long. And it
Yeah.
shouldn't take that long because the longer it takes, the changes, everyone, the animals are in harm's way, okay? And
Yeah.
they need better protection out there. They need the rights granted, not ignored. We love our rights, we as human beings, and so do they, but they just can't say it. We have to speak out there for them, and you don't have to get irate or violent or just lose it. You can go in a professional, be professional, polite with your state legislator. Get connected to them. We vote them in, we vote them out. So whether because there's Democrats and Republicans on both sides,
Yeah.
so don't let that stop you. Okay, I see so much fighting going on Facebook. It's unbelievable. They're fighting with strangers, Linda, and they're getting nowhere, okay? Blown out steam. And they don't have no clue who the stranger is that they're fighting with. They could be a serial killer or a rapist or, a big
Yeah.
criminal. So please, everyone, let's treat each other with dignity and respect. Whatever you are, if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, independent, or whatever, let's get rid of this political discrimination because it's the same as I don't like you because you're black or white or Chinese or it's the same thing.
Yeah.
And so we have to, this world needs more kindness in it and working together as a team because it means so much. We could get so much farther. I hear, hey, Facebook is a toilet bowl of social media. I'm beginning to believe that because all the fighting that's going on, the cyberbullying, because somebody is for another political race or whatever. That's not going to change. It's what it is, and we have to deal with it. So I contact them whether they're Democrat or Republican because that's my voice, and it's my voice and your voice, Linda, is all of you is important. So we got
So
to
true.
have, and isn't that true? I mean,
Yeah.
all of us, we
Well,
have to.
yeah.
Yes.
And somebody just asked about the SAFE Act bill has been reintroduced. It has not been issued a number yet. Um, but like I said, this is really good. Last time, it didn't come in till the end of the year or the beginning of the second year. So it is coming in early this year. So that's actually a really good sign. And as far as talking about animals, too late, we're losing species every day. I mean, we are really at a tipping point. There's lists of species that are, and I'm not just talking animals, but plants too, but we are losing multiple species a day at this point in time. I mean, and if the other thing I always tell people, I said, somebody goes, well, I just can't watch this or can't watch that. Well, find something you're comfortable with or find something you're passionate about. Because like when I was younger, I mean, it was baby harp seals. And then I have a thing for wolves and dolphins and horses. But everybody finds something. And somebody goes, well, why do you do that and not for these animals? Because everybody's just drawn to some. I have a friend that do cats. I have another friend that does dogs. I have another friend who does apes. Just find something. And even if it's just, I would say, make it 5-minute Mondays. On Mondays, get your coffee or something, sit down and just make the phone call. And if you go to saveamericaswildhorses.com, there's a phone number there. It's the White House switchboard. You can call them and say, I want to talk to my senators. And they'll ask you for your address and they will connect you to your senator's office. And just do that once a week. And so you have two senators and one representative or congressman. And then just call and sit there and say, this is something that matters to me. And you'll get a couple of minutes if you just call them and just sit there and say, I'm seeing this happening. I just want to let, we'll say, Congresswoman Debbie know that this is really important to me because I've always loved, horses and, I love seeing them out on the range. And I just don't want us to lose them. And I know there's been proposal that they be killed. And so they said, I am completely opposed to that. And I'm asking that if she sees that she does not support it. And then just say, thank you very much. Be polite like Debbie said, being negative or being nasty at people do not receive it. You, the old saying, you get further with honey than in vinegar, is really true because these are young people and you're getting yelled at, and that's the other thing they tell me. The horse people call and they scream and yell at them.
Oh
That
no.
that actually damages the cause because I haven't heard it myself, but other people have gone in. They said the animal people are crazy. They're fanatics. I mean, I understand being passionate about it. I can understand crying about it. But when you make these phone calls, you have to be coming across professionally because our opposition does and they have deep pockets. So it's a David and Goliath type situation when we're fighting for the animals. And there are some really good Congress people and Senate people on animal issues. I mean, and if you one of your, they say, oh well, we support the Safe Act. It's important to say, please let them know that we thank them because if it doesn't go through or the other issues come up, you can call back and they keep records of who calls. And your congressperson may ask your address, and but when you call, say, I'm a constituent. That means you're their boss. They're your congressperson. You literally are their boss.
That's right. And every time whether I write an email to the rep or the senator, phone calls, I'm always professional about it. In my writing, thank you so much for taking the time to read this. Please give back to me when you get a chance. Because all this stuff is important. I mean, with these federal bills, I noticed and on congress.gov, everyone, you can start up an account, a free account, and you could get the information on the bills and federal legislations right there. I mean, if you want an example, go in there, get HR 3656. That's the Wild Horse and Burro Protection Act. It's going to give you the status of that. Then you could get alerts, and I have this, Linda. Every time there's some kind of movement and new co-sponsor, it alerts me in my emails. It is awesome.
I have that
And
too. It's
isn't that
really
great? I
yeah, it's
love
really
it.
good.
Yes. Yep.
So
So that is the one thing, and I said, "Hey, we got to do something, everyone, because it means so much to the animals. They don't have a voice. We do. Okay, they cannot fight for themselves. And this platform's for all the animals in need and distress out there, and been running what over 10.5 years now, and will continue going. Listening worldwide, had guests all over the United States, some out of the country. So, thanks to all of you, not me, but all of you, all the great guests and the callers and the audience. You've made this show a total success, and that is why Mama Bear is still on air. Thank you. A big shout out to all of you. So we're going to keep it up, right, Linda? And Linda's always welcome back. She's awesome out there. I
I
love this.
appreciate that. I really
Yes.
appreciate it. And then one other thing is because the conference we usually do a lobbying element to it. This year, because we need to do the lobbying so early, we're splitting it up. In May, over Memorial Day weekend, we are doing the actual physical conference. It's going to be in Craig, Colorado this year. And if it's anybody's welcome to sign up. It's also at saveamericaswildhorses.com. And all the information's not there yet. I'm still working on it. But we're going to go to Craig, Colorado, and we're going to go to a 30,000 acre sanctuary, the Wild Horse Refuge. And then we are going to have some speakers. That's going to be Friday. Saturday, we're going to have some amazing speakers sharing information with us. And then on Sunday, we are going to the Sandwash Basin, which has some of the most beautiful paint horses. It's a HMA in Colorado, and I mean, I'm excited to go there. They have some really famous bloodlines there, and then we're going to spend the day out on the range seeing wild horses, and then the following day we're going to drive up to Wyoming, which is about an hour and a half drive, and we're going to go to the Salt Walls Creek and see these. There is a very unique, rare genetics up there. The horses have curly hair. I mean, they're big, beautiful horses. The area is just gorgeous, and they're scheduled to zero all these horses out. It's over 1 million acres, and they're saying that the ranchers sued to have the horses removed completely. So we're going to go see them. There is some litigation trying to fight that, and the other way you can help the horses, because there are some laws that are being out and out ignored, and wild horse education is actively litigating some of these issues right now, like the abuse. They've sued um, to get a welfare policy, and the HMAPs. Each of these herd areas are supposed to have a management plan, and they only have gather plans. They're a solution to managing land, which includes water, forage, all these other uses, is a gather plan. So it's really not sufficient. So I think that's kind of important to understand too. And if actually Wild Horse Education has some really good information if anybody's looking for more in depth or to stay on top of the different roundups and lawsuits.
Yeah, I mean, whatever it takes, because and everyone's Linda's also on Facebook, and visit her, see how you can help out. She's doing some great posts and everything, and plus, you want to give the audience your website so they can know how to get involved there. And I'm not sure if you're having another big event in DC this year. But
Well,
if you do, please contact me and I'll get you in there for, the more exposure, the better on the show. Okay.
yeah, yeah, and
How's
I'm
that
Linda.
sound?
That sounds great. I'm Linda Greaves on Facebook, and we have one of our groups is Save Our Wild Horses and Wildlife. No, I'm sorry, take that back. Save Our Wild Horses Action and Events, and then we have Save America's Wild Horses .com, or saveourwildhorsesandwildlife.org. The two will kind of pull you together, but that's my websites.
Okay, that's great. Okay, if anybody that's in the queue in the live room, aka chat room, and you want to speak on air, have any questions or comments to Linda, please send me a invitation, alert me you want to come on air, and I will bring you on. Okay, and then I'm going to mute you out in case somebody else comes up, so we don't override each other. But if you want to, just press the in the lower right hand corner, the second one. It's a mic. Press that. It'll alert me you want to come on air, and then I'll go from there. Okay, and please, okay, Michelle Satora. We're going to bring you live on air. There's another buddy right here. She's my admin on Voices Carry for Animal Support Group on Facebook. How are you there, Michelle? Can you hear me? Go ahead. Hello? I'm trying to bring her on. Can you hear me? I'm trying to hold on one second here. Just try to refrain from any noises in the background, and you're more than welcome to come on board. Okay? But I don't know if you came in off the invitation I sent you, or you just entered the chat room. But everyone, I wanted to bring this up. If you're listening from a iPad or laptop, tablet, whatever, and if you want to interact in this, then go ahead and put your headphones on with mic or uh, the um, the earbuds with mic, and you can hook up, and then we can make the call. Okay. So, Mama Cat, go ahead and send your invitation right back through here again. I just missed it. I don't believe that, but I did. But this is another great show, and this podcast is going great. Okay, and I just invited you, Mama Cat. So, can you hear me? Go ahead, Mama Cat. Are you there?
Debbie, do you think maybe I need to mute? Maybe you can only have
No,
one other speaking.
No, there
I'm
she is.
here.
There she is. Okay, I'm learning this good now. I'm still a newbie.
I had to unmute myself. I had myself muted so that I didn't. My dogs were having a howling session, and I didn't want to bother anybody.
Hey, the louder you bark, the more you heard. Thanks for Mama Cat was on last week on my guest. Did a great show, Mama Cat. I love you've been involved, and everyone in this chat room. Keep pressing the likes and like this show. It builds me up on this podcast on Podbean. Okay, even send virtual gifts, which is not money or anything. I guess there's a button. I don't see it, but help me build this thing up. It's going to take some time, but we got to allow that. But Mama Cat, go right ahead.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Linda again. When did you say you were going to be up by the Sandwash Basin horses?
That's going to be May. I'm not sure. It's Memorial Day weekend. I don't have my calendar in front of me.
Okay,
But it's going to be Memorial Day weekend. It's going to be Saturday. No, I'm sorry.
okay.
It's going to be Saturday. No, you know what? I think we're going to make it Sunday. We're going to do the conference stuff
Come
that day.
on now, Linda. Come on.
Yeah, let's do it. No, let's do it Sunday.
All
Are you
right,
gonna
I got
you want to join
Sunday.
us?
I just might.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
Oh, that'd be great.
I love the Sandwash Basin horses. They are
I-
some of the most beautiful. And we went, we've got a certain spot that we go camping periodically. And
mhm.
I'm not going to say it on air because I don't really want anybody to know where it is exactly. But it's along the river. And there's a pond area up in the area I'm talking about. And we camped up there for 5 days, and we had about 20 of the Sandwash Basin horses that were
Yeah,
just right. Some of them were right across the little pond and then right down the river. And they hung out there the entire 5 days we were there.
that's
We got some of the
amazing.
most amazing pictures. Oh my
I
gosh.
bet. Yeah, they are such amazingly, beautifully striking horses. Unfortunately, like I don't know if you ever heard of Picasso, but
Oh,
he was
yes.
there. Yeah, and then he had Michelangelo and Van Gogh. And unfortunately, a few years ago, they went and they rounded up most of those horses. And I mean, of his bloodline. There's still some mares out there, but
Here,
Picasso. Just if anybody doesn't, Picasso was an amazingly beautiful paint. He's probably the most famous photographed wild horse that exists. And his lineage, that like I said, were also art, like as Van Gogh and um, Michelangelo were
just
his
the most
son.
beautiful horse.
Yeah,
And his babies were just as gorgeous as him, you
yeah.
know? Yeah, they got a lot of them this last roundup. Now, I was watching something on, I don't remember if it was on Facebook or YouTube, and the white mare, and I don't remember her name, but I believe she was from the Sandwash Basin herd. Wherever the herd she was from, she was found a couple weeks ago in a kill pen,
Mm,
and she had all but given up. Somebody recognized her, or a scar on her face or something. I don't remember. I should
yeah.
have read that story better. But they recognized her and made a couple phone calls, and she was rescued from the kill pen.
Yes, and
So,
it's always so exciting. And like I said, there's some amazing sanctuaries out there, but it just it breaks my heart that these animals, after everything they go through, they get adopted, and a lot of the horses that are adopted, the people are paid $1,000 to adopt a horse. So that kind of
yes,
takes
they are.
I mean, so that motivates people to take horses for money purposes, not because they want horses. And some of these horses, after being rounded up, losing their families, now they're stuck in pens, and then after that they end up in the slaughter pipeline. and
Yep.
and then again, now we're having to spend money. We've already paid tax money to do all this abuse, and now we're having to spend more money to rescue them and help them get to a sanctuary. But and that's so sad. But for every horse, it's like, oh, I know who that is, we save it. There's another horse that doesn't get saved, and like I said, it just
Well,
needs to stop.
exactly. Not to mention all the horses that died right here in Florissant when they had them all penned up down there and that virus got through to
Oh
them.
yeah, that was
I mean,
terrible.
it was just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
they knew them horses were sick. A lot more could have been done, but, that's water under the bridge. We've got other fights to fight, I guess.
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, in having having the staff and having the ability to take proper care of these horses is really, really an important thing. And a lot of these places are actually short staffed. So when they're saying they're overstaffed, the holding facilities is what I'm talking about. We need to defund the roundups, and we need to keep maintain the holding facilities until we can get those horses back out released. I'm all for making a wild horse national park and let them all roam there, but we'll see what happens.
I am as well. I would support that 100%.
Yeah, I think it would be super amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll back off if anybody else wants to call in.
Okay, hey, thanks, Mama
Thank
Cat.
you.
Yeah, I appreciate all your support. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna mute you out and bring Michelle on. Okay, I'm
Alrighty.
all right. Thank you. Big hugs. That's my tag team right there.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Okay, Michelle,
Yes.
you're gliding on the air. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank
Yep.
you. And thank you, Linda.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yes.
Mama Cat. Thank you, everyone. I
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, Linda. I know we lost Shannon Doherty, who I heard was a real, would really, it was a good platform for getting education out there for the public to understand what they're actually paying to happen. Do we have any celebs that we can reach out to? Like the environmental movement has, Jane Fonda out there bringing, do we have anybody that can use their platform to kind of really put a spotlight and
You know,
really let people know that what you're paying for?
yeah, well, and I was going to say, the one- the one organization that was a part of the path forward, which was part of the reason we're rounding these horses up. They have several celebrities: Robert Redford, Willie Nelson. But like I said, it's a complex issue, so I don't fault anybody for not understanding. Ashley Avis did an amazing movie, and she's got a couple of celebrities that spoke on that. And Katherine Heigl has spoke out, and she's actually attended Wild Horse Roundup protests. But well, yeah, I
Mhm.
would love to have somebody to be the face of the issue that could really get into it. And I mean, and like I said, it's just a hard issue. And like I said, the
I mean,
people.
get them invited maybe onto MSNBC. I mean, get them out there. Is there anybody that passionate that's got some
And
power?
I will say, I've reached out to a bunch of, I've gone all over the place thinking, okay, who would be a good person for this? I mean, all the way to, you know, like K- Kendall Jenner, because she's a big equestrian, Elisa Vanderpump. They're Hollywood people that have horses.
Hmm.
But, like I said, when you send a lot of these people, they have people that sort through their stuff. So I don't know if they ever get anything, you send to them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. It would be really great to have that amplified voice of a celebrity.
Yeah.
Um,
Shannon Doherty, and we lost her, and I thought she was a big
yeah.
advocate.
Yeah.
Uh,
And like I said, and again, and this is some of the fault of advocacy. Sometimes there's a lot, we'll just say, I don't want to say, we'll say Barbie's going to be our spokesperson. And some people are like, well, I didn't like what you said. And she gets attacked by some advocates that don't like her messaging. And then, so, it's not everybody's lifting everybody up. There's a lot of fighting. So I'm not sure why, like same thing
now
with a couple of other people,
I
why
know,
they,
I
why
know.
they've stepped away from it.
Yeah, I know someone who's very dedicated, and Aloha 1978 just brought her up in the chat. Jane Velez Mitchell, have you reached out to her? Because she's all over everything.
No, I haven't.
Yes, yes,
Now
there's one. Hmm.
she advocates from animal rights on farm animals all the way. She gets in, and she used to be on MSNBC, and I think she's not no longer there because every show, the last 5 minutes, she used to spend on an animal rights issue.
Oh.
Now she's no longer on MSNBC, but she has another platform of her own. Jane Velez Mitchell, I think she's on. Oh, Aloha 1978. Can you chime in on? Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of her platform she uses now. I,
Unchained. I think it's Unchained Jane. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on one
it
second.
is. Thank
Yeah, there we
you.
go. Yes,
There you go.
because
Oh,
she
and no,
was a
no,
guest on
yeah,
this
no,
show.
I've actually interviewed with her. Yes, she does.
Yep.
Yeah, she's.
Unchained TV. Yep. That's
She
it.
will really. She
Thank
can
you, Harold.
really help if something is like critical, real time sensitive.
Yeah,
She'll jump on it and kind
yeah,
of blast it on her channel.
yeah. I probably should reach out to her again and ask about this. And like I said, because right now, part of the uh, project, part of what, whether you believe it or not, but on page 5, I think it's page 5 of Project 2025. It does say to destroy all the animals, the excess wild horses.
It's just
So
sickening.
and my big fear with that is not they're not going to put something in the water that they consider slaughter a wise way to go because they'll get some money for them, and that's these horses are so wild you can't handle them. To try to think you're going to get them with a stun gun or something like that, it's just horrific.
Oh
But
yeah, it's a brutal
That's
slaughter all the way
terrible.
to the end.
yeah, depending on where they go, they have used different methods of killing them. It's just horrible, horrible.
Shouldn't be
Um,
killed in the first place.
yeah. But like I said,
Yes.
but there's people working on different angles, and like I said, Wild Horse Education is litigating about the getting management plans in place that are actually based on science, not not on conjecture or what some people that know each other like how many horses do you think should be out there. Oh, I could probably have 200. Okay, that's they set AMLs based on that. Even the Academy of Science has said they cannot figure out how they came up with their numbers and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think if they can get the cases into the courtroom in front of judges,
yeah.
this is entirely against the law.
Yeah, well, Wild Horse Education just won two lawsuits on the fact that it's been 40 years and they still haven't done their herd management area plans. They're just using gathers,
And
and
is
that
it lawful? You know?
yeah, and it's not. They said, well, they didn't say it's not lawful, but it's well past due. 40 years is kind of a little late.
Yeah.
You know.
Right.
I'll mute out. Thank you.
Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you so much. And we're down to like a minute here, everyone. And Carolyn, I'm sorry to get you through. We got to shut down this show, but thank you so much for listening, Facebook friend, and everyone that's tuning in this evening from the web to the app. I mean, this is wonderful. This Voices Care for Animals has blown up. All right, and after 10.5 years, so everybody give me a like on this show. Keep the likes and to see it expand massively because it's going to take time to build it up, but together we can do it. Okay, and keep the teamwork going on. And Linda, I can't thank you enough for coming on
Well, thank you for
this
everything you
evening.
do, Debbie.
Hey, anytime. I do my best, but I can't do it alone. It takes teamwork all the way, and I believe in that all the way. So, but I'm looking forward to having you back on again, okay? Keep me
Sounds good.
informed.
I
And
sure will.
yes, and good luck on the 25th of March to the 27th, because I know it's going to be great again. And keep it up because we need you. We need you and all the animal advocates out there, okay? And Mama Cat, thank you for all your ongoing support out there. And she's a wonderful friend and a strong advocate. And so is Michelle. Michelle's out there and she's working hard. Together we can make a difference. We got to at least try. Strength in numbers, right, everyone? And work together. After this show is going to be downloaded, it will be published on 19 different podcast platforms, everyone. I'm so excited. You're talking iHeartRadio, Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple. You should see this list. And I have most of them listed on Voices Care for Animals podcast on YouTube, but they've only allowed you 14, and I got 19. And also, it's going to be published on YouTube. Okay, my two YouTube channels, Animal Advocates Radio Podcast, and also Voices Carry for Animals podcast. Also on my website, voicescarryforanimals.com. Subscribe free and share it, everyone. Thank you so much, everyone. Next Thursday, we'll be back on track again at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Central, 5 o'clock Mountain, and 4 o'clock Pacific. Listen in worldwide, everyone. And we're going to all you pit bull lovers out there. We got Diane Lynn Echo out there coming on as a guest, voice for pit bulls. They need our help from every angle out there because they always get misjudged and discrimination is terrible. So please join us next week and keep spreading the word. I hope everyone has a peaceful and awesome evening, relaxing. And thank you all for tuning in. Strength in numbers, everyone. Mama Cat. I'm going to do the first one this night, Mama Cat. Paw in hand, united we stand against all animal cruelty and neglect across the land. Good night, everyone, and may God bless you all. Bye bye.
Good night.
Good night.